We are live, and guess what? We are talking some NHL hockey coming back in 3 days. I'm joined here with Terry Edelman. You can find him at Twitter at Let's Go Wild Picks on Twitter. How you doing so far today?
Oh, not too bad. There's a couple preseason games I'm obviously going to be watching or looking over. And
Yeah,
I'm ready for hockey.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think I bet like a couple days worth of preseason games, and then college football took over. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at this now.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I'm excited. We get in 3 days, we get Lightning and Penguins, and then we get the Kraken making their franchise debut against the Vegas Golden Knights. So it should be a fun slate of games. Then we get 5 games the next day. But here today, we are here to talk about futures. We're looking at season point totals. We're looking at division winners, conference winners, Stanley Cup winners, plays we like. And then Terry's got some Jack Adams awards, a Norris Trophy, and a Vezina Trophy winner. So we're going to go over a little bit of what we like, and we'll go from there. We'll talk to the chat a little bit. As Turnsy's saying, what's up, fellas? What's good, Turnsy? But we'll start it off here with season point totals. Now, we're going to just touch on the ones we do like. I do have 5 written down that I like, and then Terry's got a bunch here too. So we'll kick it off with Terry. Which one do you want to go over first?
I have them written down alphabetically. I don't know if you want to go by division or alphabetically, but
it can go by alphabetical. That works.
First one's Arizona under 68.5. I just feel like Arizona is in a tough division, the Central, and I feel like their roster doesn't come close to the other teams in the division. I feel like they're going to get beat up on a lot, and I like a low season total for them for sure. I could see around 60 points and maybe late 50s.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting team this year because there's not really that much talent on this team. But when I looked at this one, I saw you're getting 67.5 points for the Coyotes. This is one we disagree on. I ran a little bit. I ran my numbers. I was looking at what I project for these teams. I got around 80 points for Arizona. Now, that may be a smidge high, that 80. But I do think that this line at 67.5 is what I got it at. Is just a little low for Arizona. I understand they're in a tough division. They're going to have to play the Avalanche a decent amount. And they're going to have to go up against St. Louis and Winnipeg and Dallas. And then there's this little team. My brother left the sound on his computer. There we go. And then they're going to have to go up against this team called the Minnesota Wild. I guess they can get some wins off of them. But no,
I doubt it.
I feel I'm going to go against you on the Arizona one there. I feel like they're going to put up 70 points and they're going to be a mediocre team. They're going to be a bad team. I'm not saying they're going to go out and compete for a playoff spot or a division. I just think 67.5 is a bit low.
Yeah. All right. It's tough. It's possible, you know. Anything's possible.
Yeah, and then the next one I was looking at here, I have a lot of unders for season win totals because I have a lot of these teams projected a little bit lower than their lines here. My next one here is Boston. I got them at. I'm looking at their under 102.5 points. I don't trust this Boston team this year. Tuukka Rask, I think, is going to be a bigger loss to them than they may think. Even though they think they have Jeremy Swayman and they brought in Linus Ullmark as well. But this core is aging, and I feel like this is one of these years where they're going to regress. And 102 points, that's still a decent amount of points here for an 82-game season. So I see an under here for Boston. Are you looking towards that direction, or?
I didn't touch that game, but that's all right. Sorry, I didn't touch Boston's total, but I do. If I had to choose, I was definitely looking at the under. Like you said, Tuukka Rask being out, it's hard to tell exactly how they're going to do. Swayman has looked good and does look promising for the future. So, but Boston has to face Florida, Leafs, Tampa. Like they're going to have to face some good competition. So I want to talk you off that one. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is going to be a tough division, and I think Montreal can even be a little bit sneaky in that division as well as Ottawa. I think Ottawa is going to be a little bit better than people think. So they're going to have to play games against Tampa Bay and Toronto and Florida and Montreal and Ottawa, and I think Detroit's even a team that I'm not super high on them, but they could be a nice team to play in a dog role potentially in the season here. So yeah, I'm looking at Boston under 102.5. I see you have a play on the Buffalo Sabres. I know they're supposed to be fantastic this year, Stanley Cup contenders, but you're taking them under here.
Yeah, not having Eichel, not having Reinhardt, not having
Ullmark,
not having Ristolainen. There's others I've for sure missed, but they're getting rid of all their talent. They're getting rid of all their talent, and they're just not like, I don't know. I think they could have one of the worst seasons. Like maybe not the worst season. They're not going to be the 8-win Washington Capitals, but I think they're going to have a pretty bad season this year.
Yeah, when your goaltenders here are being highlighted by trying to get them up here, your goaltenders are Dustin Tokarski and Craig Anderson. I can't really have too much faith in the Sabres there, so I totally agree. I think the Sabres team is going to be pretty bad. Turnsy's putting in his 2 cents. He says, "Go Wings."
Hey, they're gonna have a bright future.
I think they're a team.
Not this year, but
yeah, I see the Red Wings as a team that's similar to the Tigers, where I think they're going to be good in a couple years in Detroit. And I think that's the only positive Detroit can really see right now because the other teams aren't doing that. But yeah, with Buffalo here, I'm not a huge fan of them. And then my next one here that I had written down is Philadelphia. Under 92.5 total points. I don't see it with Philadelphia here. We saw them regress down to where I think they really should be last year. Carter Hart, not good last year. Obviously, he can look a lot better this year. But I don't see the Flyers really doing much this season. I have been projected for around 84.5 points. So I'm seeing them around 8 points under their season win total here. Are you seeing it similar to that, or do you think that this could be a bounce back year for Philly?
The Flyers is like one of those teams where I was high on them last year. I thought, okay, they're gonna win the division, like they're all set. And then obviously they didn't. They had a bad year, mostly with goaltending. Martin Jones, though, if you're having goaltending issues, I don't think going out and getting Martin Jones is really any way to help you with those issues at all. They did upgrade their defense, in my opinion. So they did have a good off. Fletcher had a good off season, improving the rest of the team. But goaltending is still going to be an issue. Carter Hart is going to have a fantastic season and play a huge majority of the games for Philadelphia to have a chance this year.
Yeah, I just don't trust Carter Hart. He just didn't seem mentally there last year. He had way too many mental problems last year. And then Philadelphia's down year. And I feel like we can see that again this year. They did improve on defense. I will give that to them. They got Ryan Ellis. They got Ristolainen in the offseason. So I can see improvements here on the defensive side of the ball of the ice for Philadelphia. But if Martin Jones is going to be a net, that's going to be an easy bet against spot for me because I'm not a huge fan of Martin Jones at all. I feel like that would be a good spot for team totals for their opponents as well. So I have a feeling that Philly's going to struggle this year. I think they're going to be able to score a decent amount, but I think they're defensively they're going to struggle a little bit, and goaltending is going to be a huge question mark for them. And I think 92.5 is a bit high. Looking at comments here, Turnsey says, so who does Buffalo have this year?
Rasmus Dahlin.
Sure, we'll go with that. Even didn't their number one overall pick elect to go back to college rather than to go to the Buffalo Sabres? That should tell you everything you need to know about the Sabres. Did I read that Verona is hurt? I didn't see anything.
Yeah, he's
I would
out.
have to
I
look.
believe it's 2 months.
Oof, that's not good. And then Turnsey does still believe in Carter Hart. I mean, if Carter Hart performs the way he did a few years ago, this is a good team. And I will be dead ass wrong if Carter Hart has a remotely decent season. I will be wrong on this play. But I just don't trust Philly right now. And then the next one I have for you is the Avalanche here.
Yeah, I'm going with the ballsy pick. Everybody's high on the Avalanche. Everybody thinks the Avalanche is cup contenders, and they very well maybe. But Colorado is so dependent on Darcy Kemper. So if Darcy Kemper, who's injury prone the last few years, in my opinion, he's not going to play in 80. Like he's not going to play every game as well. Obviously, he won't play every game, but he won't be healthy the entire season. So if he goes down for different times, or if he goes down for a month, let's say, I can't see Colorado getting to 111 points. Not with any injuries and goaltending, because the backups are just bad. So they'd have to rely on all their good players to play good every night.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely losing Philip Grubauer was not helpful, especially when and I believe if I saw right, Francois got hurt as well, so he's gonna be out a little bit.
Yeah, so it's Kemper and
Yeah,
Johansson.
and Johansson, and I'm not a huge fan of Johansson. We saw what he did with Buffalo last year. Granted, that wasn't Buffalo, but I just don't trust this Colorado team, especially losing Grubauer. I think Grubauer makes them a Stanley Cup contender, and losing him to Seattle, which we'll get to Seattle later in the stream for me a little bit. I feel like that's a huge loss for the Avalanche in this, and I can definitely see them. If I was betting Colorado, it would have to be under or nothing for this one. Francisco, what's good? Gave the like, appreciate it,
Awesome.
man. All right. Looking at the next one here on your list, and I see we're against each other on this one. Edmonton Oilers here, 99.5. You have the over, I have the under. What's your thoughts on Edmonton this year?
I feel Hyman's going to be a good addition. I like Edmonton's top six. I feel maybe Clefbaum being out the entire season may have an effect, but I like their defense overall. I like their forwards. I think he's going to be motivated. I think Edmonton's in that division is going to be able to compete for the division title. So 100 points doesn't seem out of the possibility for me.
Yeah, looking at it, Edmonton is going to be playing in the division with Vegas, with Seattle, with Calgary, which I think those three teams are going to be good this year. And then you get Vancouver, who's a big question mark. I don't have faith in the Ducks. I don't have faith in the Sharks. I don't have faith in the Kings. But I really don't have faith in this Edmonton bottom six. We're looking at, obviously Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl on the top with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Yamamoto, all in the top six. And then once you get under there, Warren Fogle, which was decent in Carolina. He was a good player in Carolina, but Carolina was a good team. Derek Ryan, Zach Cassian, Brandon Perlini, Devin Shore, and Kyle Turris. This is what we see every single year with the Edmonton Oilers since they've had Draisaitl and McDavid, is they're very top heavy, and I feel like that does not play well to them here. And I had Edmonton projected around 92.8 points, so I think they're going to be decent. I think they can potentially compete for a division or a playoff spot, but I don't see them getting 100 points here. I mean, their depth is just not enough, and if Mike Smith gets hurt and they have to rely on Mikko Koskinen, I am not a fan of Mikko Koskinen whatsoever. He looked absolutely horrible last year. And if they don't have Mike Smith for 60 of their games at least, this team is not hitting 100 points. And Mike Smith is 39 years old, so I feel like he can wear down pretty easily here. So this is a big question mark here for Edmonton. I like their under.
Yeah. Mike Smith, if he has a down year, then Edmonton's in trouble. They'd have to go to the trade market to look for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ternsey says, Edmonton over, and then Cassian. Yeah, that was this. I was actually watching that game because I had Edmonton in a parlay, and Cassian. They got into a fight, and his head hit the ice, and like it looked like he was out, like he was flat out, and he wasn't moving or anything, and then he started moving a bit, but it was pretty scary to watch.
Yeah, I bet. But yeah, yeah, this Edmonton team is just one that I definitely have no faith in them when it comes to the playoffs because they have no depth for the playoffs. But regular season, I mean, maybe. I just don't see them as a 100-point team. All right, we got a couple more here. We're going to be looking at Florida is your next one here. Over 101.5 points is where you're looking at, and I agree with that one there. I was looking a little bit towards them. I think that they're a decent team this year. I just didn't see any value on any of these lines for Florida. That's why I never got around to betting any of them. But Florida over 101.5. What's your thoughts on that one?
I think this is the best team that Florida has ever had. I think that's pretty fair. I think this is the best roster they're ever putting out on the ice. They have the best coach they've ever had. I think everything's going to click this year. I'm a huge fan of Spencer Knight. I feel he's going to be a very, very good goaltender. They're getting Ekblad back. They have a good top six. I think Florida is going to compete. I think both Florida teams are going to make the playoffs this year, and I think Florida could get to 105, 106 points.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun team to watch, and it's going to be a fun rivalry to watch between them and Tampa Bay. And yeah, looking at this team, they improved on their top line there, getting Sam Reinhart over the offseason to go with Verhage and someone who I think could be a potential MVP candidate at 25-1, and Alexander Barkov, probably the most underrated player in the NHL. And then Sam Bennett, Owen Tibbett, and Jonathan Huberdeau. I mean, that could be a decent second line. They got a really good pairing with Ekblad and Uyghur. And then we're going to see Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky. Now, they did lose Chris Driedger to Seattle in the offseason, but I still think that's a decent goalie tandem there. I think Spencer Knight's going to be something really special. So yeah, I kind of like Florida this year. I think they definitely are a legit team. Who is the starter for Florida this year? I want to say Spencer Knight.
It would be nice for it to be Knight, but it'll be Bobrovsky unless he falters.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if he plays bad.
Yeah, if I'm betting the season team win or the total points over for Florida this year, I want Spencer Knight starting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, moving on to the next team here. Hold on, let me put my surprise face on. Terry likes team total over season win total over 96.5 for the Minnesota Wild. I feel like I should ask you to explain, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, the Wild are going back to the Central this year, so they will obviously have more tough competition. But I feel they're going to match up well. I don't think it's going to be blowouts every night for the Wild, but they're going to win close games. They're going to win games in overtime. I think Kaprizov is ready. He's signed for 5 years now. He's going to be playing with Joel Eriksson and Matt Zuccarello, who he has tons of chemistry with. Eriksson is a great center for Zuccarello and Kaprizov, just because he's tough to play against. He'll go to the dirty areas and get those garbage goals. So he'll be a good complement to those two. The Wild have tons of rookies that I'm looking at, hoping to get in the roster. I just feel it's going to be a good year. And I could see them at 101, 102 points.
Absolutely. I do think the Wild are going to be a decent team this year. I don't have them on any of my future plays because I just, once again, didn't see enough value to bet on any of them because I look at numbers and I price out certain things. And I just feel like the Wild, they were either right on point of where I think they should be or slightly It was slightly lower value. So yeah, I don't mind Minnesota. I think that they're going to be a decent team. I think last year playing in the division that they did play in was very helpful for them because they got to play the Kings and the Ducks and the Sharks plenty of times. But yeah, I can definitely see Minnesota having a decent year. Kaapo Kakkonen is going to be coming in. I believe this will be his second year. He was a rookie last year, I believe, right? And then Cam Talbot looked super solid last year, especially through the playoffs there. He had a great playoff series against Vegas. I feel like he was the reason why that series went 7 games. And this is a Wild team that I kind of have the feeling similar to Florida, where they looked really good last year. They made the playoffs, and this year's the year they have to break through. And I think that this is a good enough Minnesota Wild team that they can break through, and then they can make a decent playoff run. So I feel like Minnesota, your future's bright, especially with Kaapo Kakkonen and net. And of course, Kirill Kaprizov is going to be a stud this year, which I'm kind of curious where his price is for MVP this year. Because if the Wild have a next level year, I feel like he can be in considerations for MVP.
He would be the Wild's MVP for sure, unless Cam Talbot has like a Vezina season.
Yeah, I just don't see. For some reason, my book's not showing me any MVP futures right now, which sucks.
1 second, I can check.
But yeah, I feel like that Kaprizov could be a nice little dark horse to win the MVP along with Barkov.
Plus 3,300 for Kaprizov MVP, and Barkov is plus 2,500.
Yeah. Turns he said that was a shocker that you liked the over for Minnesota. And then my brother's being an idiot. Oh, sure. When Buffalo wins the Cup, the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl, and the Baltimore Orioles will win the World Series. All right, now that we got the craziness out of the way, we'll move on to the next team. And I like your play on this next one very much. You like the New York Islanders over 99.5.
Yeah, I'm going to bunch in both New York teams together in this one. I feel the Rangers and Islanders are going to be the teams competing for the Metro title this year. I see them both over 100 points, maybe like 102 to 105. Like, it's going to be a close battle. I see them both fighting it out for the division title this year. I like Islanders getting Lee back.
Yes.
The addition of Parise, as watching him for the last few years, he is slowing down. He is getting much slower. So I'm assuming he's going to be like in a third or fourth line role for you guys. And he will bring a little back. He will bring some offense. So as long as you're not relying on him to be like a top line speedy winger, as long as you're just putting him in like a depth position to score, I feel like he'll score you guys some goals. Sorokin, Varlamov, 2 excellent goalies. I think Islanders definitely 101, 102 points. Rangers, I feel like they're a team on the rise for a while. They've been looking like they're supposed to be on the rise. I think this is going to be the year they break out, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Rangers should be interesting this year as well. Looking at the Rangers, we're going to see that top line with Chris Kreider, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere playing his first full season. I really don't count last season as a full season. Aaron, Strome, Cabo Caco, I think that's a great line. Barclay Goodrow, I think, is a great addition for these New York Rangers. And Shesterkin, I think Shesterkin's going to be a very nice goaltender this year. And then you have a nice backup in Alexander Gorgiev. So I don't mind the Rangers here. Once again, I didn't see any value to bet them. I think that they're actually a little overpriced on the futures markets, to be completely honest. And looking at the Islanders here, yeah, Anders Lee coming back. That's going to be a huge, huge return because he was out for a decent amount of the year last year and during the playoffs. And I feel like if Anders Lee's in the lineup, We're talking about the Islanders playing for the Stanley Cup last year. And this is a team that's brought the Lightning to 1 or 2 games from the Stanley Cup every single year, or back-to-back years now. And this top line with Lee, Barzell, and Palmieri, I think is going to be great. Beauvillier, Nelson, and Bailey, I like it. Parise, Paggio, Wallstrom, I think that's a decent third line as well. And then
Always with Wallstrom.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And then
so
Cizikas, Clutterbuck, and Martin, I think is the best fourth line in hockey. And then you get a rookie sensation with Ilya Sorokin splitting time with one of the better goalies in the NHL with Semyon Varlamov. I think this is a cup or bust team with New York this year.
That's some interesting pairings, Parise with Paggio and Wallstrom.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's what it has on Cap Friendly as the projected third line.
Well, Parise's like that at the guy, like dirty goal player, and then those two are the speedy. Like those two will be speeding around the ice.
Yeah,
and then Parise can get those garbage goals in front of the net.
Yeah,
and then be a good combination.
And then an interesting addition over the offseason with Zdeno Chara. He's not going to get crazy minutes. I'm not expecting him to play 22, 24 minutes a game. He's going to be with Noah Dobson. I think that's a great move there for Barry Trotz to put Zdeno Chara with Noah Dobson to teach the young kid. And then with Mayfield and Green, I think that's a decent pairing. And then we know Pulock and Pelech are probably the most underrated defense pairing in the NHL. So yeah, I like the New York teams this year a little bit. And then I have one more for season win totals, and you have one more. I'm looking under with Toronto in this for this season, under 105.5. I had this line projected around 100 for Toronto. I still think Toronto is a 100-point team, but 105.5, that's asking an awful lot for them. Jack Campbell did look really good last year, but I don't know how much faith you can put in Jack Campbell to do that again this year. But they do have a decent backup there. They got Peter Mrazek from the Carolina Hurricanes, which we will talk about them later in the stream here. But I am looking under Toronto. 105.5 points in that division. I feel like there's a little much.
Yeah. Toronto's supposed to be going with a 1A, 1B. So Campbell and Mrazek are supposed to split starts. I do think their goaltending has improved, adding Mrazek in. So I'm unsure. I'm unsure about the Leafs. I don't know really what to expect for them, except to get eliminated in the first round if they do make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they're still one of the favorites for the Stanley Cup, which absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, like they have to. I don't know. I feel like they need to. They have obviously really great players, but they just don't match well together. I feel like they don't have the right combination.
Fair enough. Looking at the chat, are we getting Tim to bet on hockey this year? And then Tim's asking about the Super Bowl. He says, I will. I'll grab my best bet every day. Fair enough. What's good, Lane Elliott? How are you doing? But the last team we're going over for season win totals, season point totals here. And Melissa, if you're watching this, look away. You like Pittsburgh under 95.5.
Yeah. I feel this is the year that Pittsburgh is going to start to drastically decline. They're not making the playoffs this year. I'll say that now, in my opinion, anyways. I feel like I did read that Crosby's getting back on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got back on the ice today. Not sure exactly when he would return to the lineup for them, but with Malkin being out, Gensel was diagnosed with COVID, so not sure exactly how he's going to be when he comes back. And then you look at their goaltending, and it's like, who's going to be able to stop the puck from them?
Tristan Jarry or Casey DeSmith? No.
Yeah.
You need someone like a Marc-Andre Fleury type of goalie.
Yes, exactly. So they don't have goaltending. Their center and their players are getting older. I just feel this is the year that Pittsburgh declines. So I like the under 95.5. I'm going to be fading them early in the season. Definitely
probably have Tampa Bay opening night.
Yeah, team totals against against them, and I just feel it's going to be a rough. I said to Melissa, I said the Pittsburgh should be looking at if they're going to either go all in and trade for John Gibson from Anaheim, get yourself a goaltender. He was born there in Pittsburgh, so get yourself a goaltender, try to improve, or blow it all up. Blow it all up, trade Crosby, trade Malkin, trade
Gensel, and
even Gensel, and their defenseman. Just see, they don't have prospects. Yeah, Letang. They don't have prospects. They don't have a prospect system, in my opinion. So it's like if you're just going to hold on to Crosby and Malkin until they retire, then they're going to retire, and you're not going to have any prospects, and you're just going to be bad for you're going to be the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
So
and in Pittsburgh to not make the playoffs is plus 170, which I think is a very good play.
Yeah, I like that as well.
But those are our season point totals here. We're going to move a little bit quicker through these than we did with the season point totals because we do have less of these. We're looking at division winners now. And I'm gonna switch the scroller here. And I'm looking more a little bit longer shot division winners for these ones here. But we'll start here with the Atlantic Division. You have anything for the Atlantic? Personally, I did not get to any of them. But anything for the Atlantic for you?
I went with the obvious choice, Tampa Bay plus 145. I feel like they're going to be just as good as last year. They're going to obviously be fighting off. They're going to have Boston, they're going to have Florida, Toronto. But I do feel like they have the best chance to win that division.
I didn't get around to any of them because the top 4 teams in that division, I think, are priced a little bit, not enough return for me. Because I had Tampa Bay priced around plus 220 to win the division. I had Toronto priced around 350. They're 210. I had Boston priced around 500, 515. They're 375. The closest I got to betting one was Florida at 425, but I had the one priced at 465. So I didn't see any value on anything in the Atlantic Division. If I had to pick one, it would be the Panthers. I think this is the year they step up. Tampa Bay, I feel like they can look at this year like, okay, we're going to just try to get into the playoffs. And we don't need to have a phenomenal regular season. We do not need to win the division. So I feel like this is a year where you can see someone other than Tampa Bay win this division. So for me, it would have to be Florida if I would have to get around to anything in this one. Looking at the Metro division, anything for you for the Metro here?
I went Rangers plus 350. As I said, I feel it's going to be Rangers and Islanders fighting for the division title this year. And I feel like Rangers have the better offense. So that's who I went with. I went with the offense. And like you said, Islanders are a playoff team, so they might not be as focused on getting that division title as the Rangers might be. So
exactly, I can see the Islanders as a 3 seed in the Metro division.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but the two I got around to is my long shot. I'll start with my long shot. I had New Jersey priced around 1,200, 1,250 to win the division. I'm getting 16-1 for it. I'm going to take a small shot here on the Devils at 16-1. They did make some upgrades in the offseason that I did like. Let me get up their roster here, their projected lineup, because they went out. They did get Dougie Hamilton. I do not mind that addition. I feel like that's going to be a nice little offensive here. One underrated one where if he can get his stuff together, no, that's Carolina. Never mind. I'll mention someone else, but no, that's Carolina I was thinking of. But they did get Tomas Tatar in the offseason to go up with Sharangovich and Hughes on that top line. Pavel Zacha, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt. I think that's a decent second line as well. And then you're getting Ryan Graves that they got from Colorado in the offseason. I think that's a good acquisition on the top pairing with Dougie Hamilton, which we know how great Dougie Hamilton is offensively, and that'll help them put up some goals. Ty Smith was a really nice defenseman last year as a rookie. going along with PK Subban. I think that's a decent combination there. And they got Mackenzie Blackwood, and then they got Jonathan Bernier as their goalies. And I think that's a nice little upgrade from Wedgwood Bernier, because we saw Bernier had a decent season with a Red Wings team, which wasn't very good at all. So I want to see what you can do on a Devils team that I think is going to be much improved this year. I'm going to take a shot on them, 16-1 to win the division here. And then the other one is Carolina. And the thing with Carolina that really concerns me, if anything, is their goaltending. Losing Mrazek, losing Reimer, and losing Nedeljkovic, I still don't understand why they got rid of Nedeljkovic. That was probably the worst move they made probably all season long.
They said they didn't want to pay him an extra $1.5 million, but then what they ended up doing is paying Anderson more and paying trying to remember who the other Ranta. So they paid both of those goalies more than what they would have paid Nedeljkovic, but that was their reason for trading him. But Detroit got a steal. Like, that's the Yzerman. Like, he's like,
oh yeah,
he's
gonna be great
Detroit
with
fans
Detroit.
Are happy. You should be happy, Turnsey, having a GM like that.
But looking at, I think one thing that's really going to help Carolina this season is they're going to be able to score. They have a really good top line with Svechnikov, Aho, Natchez. They got Teravainen, Nino Ryder, Vincent Trocheck is going to be really good. They did lose Dougie Hamilton, and they replaced him with Tony DeAngelo, which mentally, if he can get his shit together, he is physically gifted, and he is a very talented hockey player. If he mentally can get his shit together, I think this is going to be an improvement, or I think it's going to help this defense, because Tony DeAngelo can score goals. The only thing is he was a locker room cancer in New York with the Rangers. So that's going to be interesting to see. They also brought in Ethan Bear from Edmonton, which I think was a good move as well. Their goaltenders are going to be a big question mark, but I do like this Carolina Hurricanes team. I think there is value on them. As you'll notice throughout the conference and the Stanley Cup odds, I think there is value on Carolina.
Yeah, I have the New York teams fighting for the division title, and then I have Washington and Carolina kind of fighting for that third spot. So I agree with you. I just feel their goaltending is, like, you're going with Anderson and Ranta, and both are injury prone. Like, so if one or both of them get injured, then what are you going to do?
Yeah,
I feel like you said, they're going to be able to score, so they might be an over team. It might be good to look at their overs.
They'll be a fun team to watch, definitely. Yeah. Whether you're betting overs or team total overs against them as well, because I think that they will give up a lot of goals and they will score a lot of goals. Because defensively, I don't know if this is going to be the greatest team, but I think offensively, they're going to be one of those that's going to be top 5 in the NHL in goals scored per game. So yeah, I do like this Carolina Hurricanes, as you'll notice throughout the rest of the stream here, an awful lot this year. Moving on to the next division here, we went over the Atlantic, we look over the Metro. We'll look at the division that you call home there with Minnesota. We'll look at the Central Division here with Colorado at minus 225 to win this division. Looking at the odds here, there's absolutely no way I am getting to Colorado at minus 225, especially with the question marks at goaltending for them. I'm going to take a shot on two longer shots on this one here. Two teams that are 16-1 that I think have a goalie that can carry them to a playoff spot or a division win, and decent offense on this one. I like St. Louis, and I like Winnipeg at 16-1. I think they're a little undervalued here. I got Winnipeg projected, or I was projecting around an 850 line for Winnipeg to win the division, and around a 1,050 line for St. Louis. So getting 16-1 on both of those, I think that's a nice little value spot here. I'm not saying they win the division. I'm just saying there's value on those two teams, especially with Hellebuck and with Binnington. I think those are two goalies that can definitely, if they're right, they can definitely lead their team to a division title in this one and potentially compete. I just think there's some value on those two teams.
Yeah, I like your Winnipeg pick for sure. They improved their defense this year, and the Centrals is kind of I think the word's crapshoot. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, other
and
than
it's going to be
Colorado, yeah.
Colorado. It's like everybody like Colorado's a Kemper injury away from being even with all the other teams, or even if he doesn't play up to par like he did in Arizona. Um, then they're going to be even with the other teams. I think it'll be a close race in the Central. Um, St. Louis pick I'm not as high on. I feel like Binnington, he's going to have to be like more consistent this year, and I don't have faith in their backup, Huzo. So for me, St. Louis wouldn't be an option, but Winnipeg improving their defense. They have Hellebuck still. They still have good offense. Kyle Connor, Scheifele,
Wheeler.
Wheeler. So Winnipeg, yeah, I think that's a pretty nice price for them.
And then I see you have this Minnesota team to win the Central Division.
Don't put your mortgage on the Minnesota to win the division, but it is a nice price for a team that I think is going to be competing. I'm excited to see what Kaprizov does this year. Some of these teams have faced him, some of them haven't. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good division, a close race, and the Wild are going to be in the top 3. So, in my opinion, this year, so they have a chance, and it's a good price, unlike Colorado's price.
Yeah, Colorado is an absolute pass for me for value wise. And then it makes you just have to look elsewhere. And I kind of looked a little outside the box on my 2 picks. I feel like it's easy to say, oh, Colorado's going to win the division. But I feel like for value spots, you got to look at other places. Looking at the last division here, Pacific Division, where we have Vegas minus 200. And then we Edmonton, Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver, LA, San Jose, and Anaheim. Are you looking at anything in this division?
No, I think Vegas is favored too high. I feel like losing Fleury is really gonna make a difference that people don't see. I don't think Leonard. Yeah, they got Brossoit as a backup, so he is going to be a good backup. But I don't have faith in Leonard as a starter. I'm not saying Vegas is going to be bad. Like, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a top 3 team. But I just think that price is too high, and I feel like there's other teams below them that could win the division.
Yeah, and I see that here. I have 2 plays that I like, and these are strict value plays. I'll start with the bigger favorite one. I like Seattle at plus 800. I feel like this is going to be a decent team, Seattle. They have a really nice goaltender that they got from, as we mentioned, the Colorado Avalanche and Philip Grubauer. I'm trying to get up their projected lineup here on my computer. Projected.
Chris Traeger is a backup. They're stacked with goalies.
Yeah, I like this team. I mean, looking at that top line, Jaden Schwartz, Jared McCann, Jordan Eberle, I like it. Don Skoy on that second line with Johansson and Wenberg, Appleton, Geeky, and Yarncroke. I feel like this is a pretty deep Seattle team that with that top pairing, their captain Giordano with Losiak. This is going to be a decent Seattle team, and as you'll see throughout the rest of this stream, I am high on Seattle this year. So release the Kraken here, 8-1. And another team I'm looking at as a little bit of a bounce back spot this year that I saw value on was the Calgary Flames. Now, they're 16-1 to win the division. I feel like that was a little bit too wide. I think that this is a better team than people think they are. And I like, as you'll see throughout this stream, as long as they get Matthew Tkachuk back, this is going to be a decent Calgary Flames team.
Yeah, I'm unsure about Calgary. they're kind of a team I root for. Like they're not. I don't have any dislike towards them or anything. So I'm kind of unsure. Seattle, I look at them as an under team. Like I'm going to be betting their games under. I feel they have a great defense, great goaltending. So I see a lot of 2-1, 3-1 games, 3-0 games, 2-0 games. Like I see a lot of low scoring games for them. So I'm going to be definitely hitting the unders before odds makers catch up to that, because obviously throughout the season, their totals will drop.
Yeah, there'll be a team similar to Anaheim where we'll look to bet their unders.
Yeah, I'm assuming there might have we might see some fives with them eventually.
Yeah,
Obviously it'll start with 5.5, but I think that we'll see some fives with them. So if I see any sixes with Seattle, I'll be definitely taking unders on that.
absolutely. Moving on here, we have conference winners left and then Stanley Cup winners. So we'll kick it off here at the conference winners. Where are you looking at for conferences here?
With in the East, I went with Tampa plus 325, and Florida and New York Rangers both plus 1,000. For me, those are the three teams that I see competing it out. I wouldn't be surprised to see two of them fighting it out, like Rangers and Florida fighting it out for the division title, or Rangers and Tampa. So those are the three I see in the East.
Yeah, for me, I took a little bit longer shots here. I mean, these were two teams that I like to win their division, so I took a shot at them. I'm going to be taking a shot at them with conference winners as well. Carolina at 12-1 and New Jersey at 33-1. And this is just a spot where New Jersey, I'm going to take some long shots with them. I feel like they're going to be better than people think this year. And they're 33-1. I had them projected around 23-1 to win the Eastern Conference. So I do see a little bit of value here with the Devils. Now they may go really bad, and I may look like a complete imbecile and an idiot betting New Jersey here. But I feel like this could potentially be a halfway decent team.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be improving. They're going to improve from last year. So it's a really high price on them. So if you sprinkle a little bit on there and it hits, hey, you'll be happy, you know?
Yeah, and obviously, guys, these are not full unit plays on these longer conference finals. These are like maybe 10th of a unit plays, quarter unit plays on some of them, maybe. They're nothing. Don't go huge on those. I think the only plays I'll really put whole units on are my season win totals, because those are more minus 115 plays, minus 110 plays. So those are ones that'll be more full unit plays. Other ones like conference winners, division winners, those would be half unit, quarter unit, 10th of unit type of things. But looking at the Western Conference here, you have Edmonton and Minnesota.
Yeah, I went with two longer shots, Edmonton, Minnesota, both plus 1,200 there. The Wild, obviously, I'm choosing them a lot. I'm a big fan, but I feel like they have a good team, and eventually they're going to get over the hump there. Edmonton with McDavid and Draisaitl, I feel like it's time's running out for Edmonton with McDavid. I feel like he is going to get frustrated if they don't make it. Like they need to make the conference finals. They need to try to make obviously the cup finals. But I feel like they're running out of time with him, and I could see Edmonton as a Cinderella story this year.
Yeah, once again with Edmonton, the only thing I don't trust is their depth. They have no depth after those first line and a half. Like this is the struggle that they're going to have all season long. Yeah. My thoughts on Edmonton exactly. It's a year or bust, a cup year or bust, basically. And yeah, I feel like we're going to see probably Edmonton be exactly like Toronto, where they're a team that's going to just flop in the first round of the playoffs again. Like, I don't trust Edmonton to do anything when it comes to the postseason. So yeah, Minnesota, I don't mind. I once again, I can see them being a good team this year. So, but Edmonton is one I just couldn't get my head wrapped around to bet. So I did not. And for me, my 3 Western Conference ones, once again, these are longer shots because that's where I see the value. I don't see value on any of these top ones with Colorado, with Vegas, with Edmonton. I don't see any value on those. Once I did see value on Seattle, Winnipeg, and Calgary. I had Calgary projected around 11 or 12-1 to win the conference finals or to make it to the Cup this year. And at 22-1, I think that's a nice little value shot there. Winnipeg, once again, all they have to do is make the playoffs. Connor Hellebuck can get hot, and they can make it to the Cup finals. And Seattle, I mean, Philip Grubauer is a goaltender that I think could definitely lift them to a potential Stanley Cup finals appearance. We saw it with Vegas in their first year. I think Seattle could be a halfway decent team. Now, I don't think Seattle's as good as what Vegas was when they first for their inaugural season. And it's mainly because the NHL teams did not want to trade with Seattle the way they wanted to trade with Vegas. And they're like, oh, here, you can have a Mark Stone. You can have an Alex Pietrangelo. You can have a whatever. Or no, it was Shea Theodore that they got. And, Jonathan Marchessault. And, they got all these different players from trades. And you didn't see that at all at Seattle. But I still think the Seattle team is going to compete. I think they're going to be pretty decent, and I think that they can definitely compete for a spot in the Stanley Cup Finals this year.
I like I said already, I see them as an under team. I don't like their coach, Dave Haxtell, and I don't like a lot of the decisions that they made in the expansion draft. I feel like they had some much better players that they could have went for if they were trying to compete right away. So I feel like they're going more of the rebuild, not a rebuild route, but they're going more of a middle ground, see how we are, and then take it from there. But it's possible. If people can't score on them, if they win games 2-1, 3-1.
I mean, we saw that with the Islanders.
Get it, yeah. Winnipeg and Calgary, I like the Winnipeg pick again. Like I said, they improved their defense, and Hellebuck in that. You never know what can happen.
Yeah.
So there's some good prices for your picks there.
Yep. And then we'll finish it up with the Stanley Cup. Now, for me, these feel repetitive, but there are 3 teams I picked to make it to the finals. So I stuck with them: Carolina, Seattle, and Calgary. 50-1 for Calgary, 33-1 for Seattle. My favorite one's 22-1 for Carolina. I was very high on Carolina last year, and they took a step up. They won their division, and I think they're going to compete this year again. I think there's going to be a very talented Carolina team, and I think I like them for 22-1 to win the Cup. It feels repetitive, but similar teams I had in conference winners. I have Stanley Cup as well, because you need to make the Stanley Cup to win the Stanley Cup. So that's kind of where my thought process was.
Yeah, same with me. I went with Minnesota, Tampa, and the Rangers. The 3 teams I like the most this season.
Fair enough. So now you gave me a couple extra plays. I really didn't look too much into the player ones, but you did. Looking at the first one here, you were looking at Jack Adams Award, which is Coach of the Year. With Quenneville, Evason, and Glant. Your thoughts on those?
Yeah, I feel like Florida, like I said, Florida has the best roster they've ever had. They have the best coach they've ever had. And Quenneville, if they win the division, if they have a really good year, Quenneville's definitely going to be in the top 2 for Jack Adams. Dean Evison, he's a great coach. Obviously, I watch Minnesota games. And I watch all of his post-game pressers. So I see a lot of Dean Evison, and he is a very good coach. So if Minnesota can win that division, have a really good year, I think he'll definitely get votes. And then Gerard Glant with the Rangers. Glant's was great with Vegas. He was great he was good when he was in Florida as well. So I could see him coming here with this nice up and coming Rangers team and be the piece that they need to get far. So some good odds there for him, plus 1,400.
Yeah, I definitely do like that one. I think if the Rangers are a playoff team, then he's definitely a front runner to win that award. And then you gave me 2 more plays here, one for the Norris Trophy, one for the Vezina Trophy. You like Adam Fox here, Norris Trophy, Best Defensive Player of the Year, 9-1.
Yeah, it was him and Makar. Makar was a little bit favored more. But like I said, I'm high on the Rangers this year. And if the Rangers are going to do well, it's going to be because of Adam Fox. He's going to be a big reason why he is their best defender they have. He's going to get power play time. Like he killed it. What did he have? Like 40 some odd assists, and
I think something along those lines. Yeah,
he killed it last year. I think he's going to do very well again this year.
I like it.
Those odds, so.
And then the next one here, I was actually looking at a different name for this award, but Vezina Trophy, you just went with Andrei Vasilevsky here, plus 350. Now,
Yeah,
I understand that play because you like Tampa Bay to win the Cup. You like them to win the division. So Vasilevsky's going to have a good year here.
Yeah, he hasn't yet. Like he's been good since he came into the NHL, and I believe he didn't win it last year. And
that was Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, and Tampa players were really upset about that.
Yeah,
and made a big stink that Vasilevsky didn't win it. So I think Vasilevsky is going to come out this year and really like put it all out on the table. And so it may not be the best odds. There's definitely a lot of better value picks out there, but I feel like he's going to do it this year. So I went with what my gut's telling me. Instead of looking for value, I went with what I really think is going to happen.
Yeah. Looking at it for me, my book doesn't have the odds on it currently, but I was looking at Connor Hellebuck at 10-1 if I was to get to anything for Vezina Trophy, and that's just a correlation with I think Winnipeg's going to be a decent team this year, and I think that this could be a Connor Hellebuck's going to be one of the main reasons that Winnipeg couldn't win a division this year and can make it to a Stanley Cup. So I was looking potentially at 10-1 for him. And then I think it was Varlamov at 25-1, I think was a decent shot as well. I think those were the two I was really looking at for value-wise.
What's that, Raymond?
So, yeah, I believe that's about all we have here for picks. Anything else you want to mention here? Wild Cup for the Cup this year. Anything else? Anything else you want to mention before we head on out here?
No, not really. I think I've gone through what I feel some good betting spots, like the Seattle unders this year, overs against Pittsburgh. So these are some of the things I'm going to be looking at going into the season. I think it's going to be a good year. Hockey was good last year. I think it's going to be a good year this year, and let's go Wild go.
There we go. Yeah, and if you guys do want to follow Terry Edelman at Let's Go Wild Picks on Twitter, he's definitely a good follow there over on Twitter. But that's going to just about wrap it up for this stream. I believe in about a half an hour, I'm going to be going to see a hockey game. We have App State at ECU for hockey, so I might go see some college hockey here in about a half an hour or so. So that should be fun. A couple of comments before we head on out. Wings winning the Cup this year. Sure.
Not this year.
Hockey. I have to rewatch the whole show. All good. Thanks for the show. Not a problem. Turnsey, if you ever want to come on for to break down some hockey with me, you're always welcome. I just want to send that invite out as well. NBA, no betting allowed. That's what it stands for. Now, I'm going to crunch my numbers for the NBA. I'm not going to care about the NBA. I can promise you that. But that's going to just about do it for the show. We want to thank you guys as always for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we are live here on ESB. But that's going to just about wrap it up for the show. My name is Nicholas Earle. I was joined with my special guest Terry Edelman today, and we want to thank you guys always for watching. Good luck.
See you guys.